Quite the fashion statement. Hey there, garden friends. It's Heather at Bush Poppy Farm, and this is part 2 of the April garden tour. I wasn't feeling too great today, so today's going to be low energy day, and just I thought this would be a good time to film this. I have had chronic Lyme disease for 6 or 7 years now, and for the most part I'm really good. Like, I don't have a whole lot of flare-ups, but when I do, it's either a really bad migraine or inflamed joints, night sweats, just weird stuff that happens that makes me feel awful. So those are the days that I go a little bit slower, and today is one of those days. So just giving my body some grace, and I'm doing what it can do, and we can save the hard work for a day where I actually have the energy to do it. So the first part of this garden tour, and earlier in April, was before I did garden cleanup for getting rid of all like deadheading and everything. So now I have done that, and I will show you where we are. Starting with the narcissus beds here, I have deadheaded everything. So we'll let all of these, all the leaves and stuff die back. And once they're all brown and gone, then I'll trim them all up, and then those bulbs will have been regenerated, and they'll just stay tucked up until next spring when they pop up again. These are Snapdragons back here, and they're doing great, and that's actually a rogue thorned blackberry, because we have wild blackberry throughout the creek bed back behind here. And for now, I'm leaving it. Over here, same thing. I have deadheaded those narcissus, and now they just look like nice green leaves. The Snapdragons behind them getting tall. This is the veg bed that was all the tulips. Yes, I have pulled most of them. There's a few here left that I'm going to pull on Monday morning when I harvest for my CSA clients, but this bed is awaiting tomatoes, and I have a whole tray of different varieties of tomatoes outside the greenhouse hardening off, and they are ready to come out. And so I'm going to cordon my tomatoes this year and train them up strings as opposed to putting them in cages, and I'll show you how I do that. It saves a lot of space, and it makes them less prone to disease, so excited about that. Garlic, huge. Getting huge. My goodness, this stuff is so tall. I am so excited. I think we're gonna have a really good garlic harvest this year. Scapes should be coming along in the next month or so, and then I'll show you what we do with scapes. They are very yummy. Pomegranate is all leafed out. It is looking good. Something got in here and ate nearly all the leaves off of my grape. So I'm not sure what's going on. Normally I would say that's deer damage, but this, even though they can jump over this fence, I don't see any other evidence in here of deer. And so I'm not sure what's going on. Blackberries doing great. They're super lush and got buds for flowers. Some of them are already starting to flower. This is just those extra ranunculus corms. They look pretty, but this ground here, nothing really grows on it. I might put a raised bed here. I think it's just the clay is so dense underneath there. It's just hard for plants to really do well. Yep, so blackberry blossoms, and then loaded with blueberries. Yep, I still haven't netted them. I'm probably going to regret that. Also on the plum tree, lots of fruits in there. So excited about that. This is one of those 5 variety plums, so they're all grafted onto rootstock. This is a smoke bush. It is not your typical red smoke bush. This is like a chartreusey color. I love it. It's actually a little bleached out more than it should be, so maybe I need to relocate this into the shade somewhere. But you can see the nepeta behind it is all leafed out. This bed is starting to fill out. There's yarrow there. Everything that I cut back is coming back in lush. That buddleia over there is getting tall already. Peas doing great. We're getting flowers, so we're going to have peas hopefully in the next month. Here's one of the flowers. Potatoes going strong. I love potatoes, so I can't wait to eat those. And then this is the bed that I planted the other day. Cucumbers, squash, and then I just put a row of radishes right down the middle because those will be done real quick and I can pull those out long before those plants get big. Over here we have Agrostemma, which is getting ready to flower. You can see how much it looks like Bachelor Button. Here's Bachelor Button. The foliage looks almost identical. So these are going to flower, then the Bachelor Buttons are going to continue to flower. I can start harvesting more on those soon. And then the Sweet Annie here, which I actually am not waiting for it to flower. I keep taking it and using it for greenery in bouquets because it smells so amazing. There's more Sweet Annie coming up there. The Daucus is growing, and so is the borage. I think what I'm going to do with this bed, now that I have so much room because of the ranch, I think this is a 20-foot long bed. It's 2 feet wide. I think, depending on how the peonies do this year, which so far they're doing amazing, I might turn this into a peony bed. It'll be great because it will have afternoon shade, and they really will appreciate that because we get so hot here in the summertime. This little lavender and the bees. Look at that fat bumble. Oh my goodness, I love them so much. So cute. I can't stand it. There's that buddleia again. And then, this climber. All the aphids are gone because the ladybugs came and feasted. And it is blooming. Gorgeous flower. They smell really nice too. The fruit trees. So something's eating these guys too. Again, I would say it is deer damage, but I don't know, guys. I don't understand. They're looking okay, but I mean, something's been nibbling. So I think maybe I should come out here at night and see if I can catch something. Maybe it's some weird kind of insect or something, but yeah, weird. Anyway, this is a pear tree that we had fruits on last year, but they didn't get fertilized, so they didn't set. I'm hoping that it'll be better this year. And then this blueberry bush, like I said, just packed with berries. So excited to harvest all those. Dahlia bed, doing just fine. They're going to be slow for a while because they don't really start coming into their own until July and August, but they look good. Orlea, this stuff is starting to pump out the blooms, which is great because I'm using it as secondary flower in my bouquets for my CSA members. The stalk winding down, not much left. I need to clear this bed. I mean, there are some other stems here, but as we get hotter, they may not flower, so we'll see. This is a second succession of Orlea and a rogue Daucus there, but this is chocolate lace flower. I can tell already by the color of that little flower. Wait till you see what it looks like when it's huge and all bloomed out. So gorgeous. The Nigella, some of it got flattened from the heavy rains, but that's okay. Status. Look at the status. It still has a ways to go. Like, these flowers can get much bigger, but I can start harvesting them now for bouquets. And the stems are nice and long. Lots of pretty colors this year. Straw flower really coming on. Last year it took it a lot longer. Look at that. Here, let me get out of stop casting a shadow. So lots of these are blooming. Here's another one. And then Snapdragons. Just so many Snapdragons. I can't wait to see these bloom. I think they're going to produce for quite a while too. And then all of the feverfew. Here's the tinier succession, which isn't that tiny. It's about 2 feet tall. And then there's these monsters. I just keep waiting on the blooms, but oh man, I'm so excited. I cannot wait to start harvesting those. Then there's this big stand of Scabiosa. These guys are getting real close. I can see the beginnings of flower buds, and they'll produce for a really long time. And there's a second succession right behind them. Another succession of feverfew. And then over here, the peonies. Oh, first of all, look at all the yarrow. So lush. That's going to give me some beautiful stems this year. And then the peonies. So the ants at work. The ants are not a bad thing. They work in harmony with the peonies, and they enjoy the sweet sap that the peonies give off. These are ready. This one is marshmallow stage. It is ready for harvest. This one, still hard, not ready for harvest. This one, marshmallow stage. So I have a couple of lucky CSA members this week are going to get some peonies. And this one's a little bit further behind because they are different stages, right? I got a early, middle, and late blooming variety. And then these Snapdragons getting huge, and also the yarrow coming back beautifully. Rogue calendula that apparently self-seeded from last year. More snaps. Look at these guys. So tall. Cannot wait to start harvesting from these. And I wanted to show you the difference between pinched Snapdragons and non-pinched. So I pinched some of these when I planted them, like this guy. This is a single plant, and you see I have multiple stems. This one did not get pinched, and look at the size of that stem. My God, it's like one of those beefy pencils that you had in first grade to write with. So pinching obviously delays flowering a little bit, but it gives you a number of more usable stems. So I am super stoked to start harvesting these guys soon. And then the ranunculus, still pumping. They probably only have about 2 weeks left, but all of these pretty colors, they just did so well this year, even after being ravaged by rodents. I'm just really pleased. I'm so excited to grow them again next year. They just came in so many gorgeous colors. So now I'm kind of addicted to ranunculus. So I got this bed all cleaned up as well. There's the mock orange, totally flowered out. There's a azalea peeking back there. This loropetalum, huge, needs to be pruned. And you can see these guys are totally leafed out. They're gorgeous. Just the color is gorgeous. This mess, it's just stuff that needs to get cleaned. So all of those trays and pots need to be sterilized and ready for new plantings. Those guys are going to go in the green stock, and then these are some additional succulents to go in when I clean up all my succulent containers, and I'll do a video about that too. I did come in here and deadhead, in other words, pull off all of the dead and spent blooms on as many of the azaleas as I could, and as well as the camellias. But this gives you an idea of what it looks like when everything is really flowering. Those light pink ones are so pretty too, and then we've got the hot pink back there. And then over here, I tried to clean up these as well, and I deadheaded all of the daffodils. Look at that guy's it's just full of blooms. There's hardly any leaves on it. There's so many blooms. So I just feel like, now granted the daffodil foliage will turn brown and start getting ugly, but I feel like once you deadhead the spent blooms, it just looks so much better for a while until they start to die back. But then that's only a couple of weeks. But this has filled in so much. I'm so happy with this look. There's a little row of lavender right there in front of that pittosporum. These dogwoods are doing great. I can see they've been munched a little bit at the top from deer, undoubtedly. But that's okay. They're big and hardy enough now, they can kind of handle it. And the deer aren't starving right now. This is just really filling in nicely. Going all the way up. And our Japanese maples are all leafed out now. And again, with the azaleas, these light pink blossoms, and then this hot pink here, and white. And these containers still going strong. I haven't done a thing to them. Like literally, I probably should come in and prune them and deadhead a little bit. I haven't done any of that. A lot of new growth on here since I planted them. So that's nice. I have not yet shaped these boxwood, like I said, but we'll get there. Lamium spreading nicely in here. And these are lily of the valley, convallaria, that are coming up here. This guy in bloom now is smelling really good, really luscious. And Lamium and Lobelia all doing nicely. And then all of those just little wildflowers up there. That's like Geum and some kind of little tiny daisy under there. Those were not planted. Those are volunteers. So enjoying this view out my kitchen window. It looks so much nicer in here now that all this stuff is green and spreading instead of bare dirt, except for this patch, but that's from the birds. That's okay. We've got lupine back here. Yeah, this is our shaded, kind of dry shaded woodland area. All right, sunflowers hardening off. These are the ones that are going to go interplanted between the all the peonies. Not the peonies, the dahlias. Some of the many. I need to do so much more. This is also all seeded with sunflowers. They haven't popped up yet. So, okay, so green stalks. The herbs have come back with a vengeance. So you can see where the squirrels have been digging. Little stinkers. Thyme. Flowering. I planted some extra squash that I had, some extra zucchini in here. All the herbs are doing really well, and the strawberries going crazy. I'm really looking forward to munching on those. Over here we have cilantro, and this guy already bolted. A bunch of different kinds of, we have tatsoi and 2 types of romaine. And another squash. Oh, look at this cool spider. Look at that guy. Or gal. This desperately needs to be cleaned out. I'm going to harvest. No, I don't even think there's anything left to harvest out of it. And look, is that a slug? No, that's just a leaf. So that is ready to get cleaned out. And so is that. Well, there might be a couple of harvestable ranunculus stems, maybe one on Monday, but these are ready to get cleaned out, which is good because I'm excited to plant them up for summer. These guys I haven't cleaned up yet, but those will. I will try to save the bulbs and see what happens. Not sure yet. The ferns really filling in, as I showed you before. It's just like, there's nothing here all winter, and then they just come and grow and grow and grow, and they start to cover up the pool pump and everything there. This ivy, out of control. That's all right, though. It's holding the hillside in place. And over here, this Fire Island Macrophylla Hydrangea is getting big, and it's already got flower buds in there. I can't wait to show you these. They're huge. They're bigger than my hand. The mop heads. These pansies still going strong, and we have blooms climbing up this trellis, the jasmine. All of this geranium back here. I need to come back here with a weed whacker and whack down this grass, but no biggie. This is a wet. This is still dry shade, but it gets some sprinkler action. And these are Heuchera in here, some fern, another Pyrus japonica. That hellebore is still going for it. It's just so funny. These actually, blooms in this stage are really great. They hold up forever. It's really hard when they're fresh. They don't last very long in the vase, and they tend to droop. But when they are really mature like this and the pollen stamens are gone, they do great. And you can hear the fans going on the greenhouse because it's hot in there right now. These pots still looking good. Oh, I need to clean up those cyclamen, but look how big the limelights are. I'm really glad they're in big pots, but this looks so lush right now. Here's all my tomatoes. They were sitting in the sun for half the day, hardening off. All right, let's go inside real quick. There's not as much in here because almost all of it went to the farm, to the ranch. I have planted all the sunflowers and let's see, I've got corn and some squash and all kinds of stuff in these. They haven't germinated yet, but they're getting there. This is all more flowers. I have to keep consistently seeding flowers. Some of these are for the bouquets in a box, curated box customers, but and the rest of those are out at the ranch. This is more seeds that I started, and today I'm going to start even more seeds. I need a lot because I have to fill those 4 big beds at the ranch, and I have to flip the 3 beds here as well once the spring stuff is done. This is all of the Baptisia, doing great. And we don't really have much else in here. I got 2 mint plants. That's it. Everything else is at the ranch, got planted out or bumped up. So cycling through. So these guys over here are anemones that I got tiny plants of a couple of weeks ago and popped them in the ground. So they will spread through here. Yes, the bird bath is filthy. It needs to be cleaned out, scrubbed out, and prepared for the birds. But these will have really pretty pink and or white flowers, depending on the exact plant. We need to mow, clearly. But this is all the seeded grass. We seeded all of this in the fall, so I'm really pleased with how densely it came in. Fig tree, growing figs. Look at those guys, looking great. This Meyer Lemon, absolutely loaded with blooms. I'm thrilled because it produced nothing for the last 2 years. I just fed it some iron this morning because it's still got chlorosis. And then look at this little viola pot that I planted up. You can barely see the pot anymore, just covered in flowers. Here's a better view, and I am just covered in spider webs right now. Viola's just hanging out in there. That also needs to be cleaned up. Lavender, look at that, so lush, and it's got tons of little buds on it getting ready to go. This is a Macrophylla Hydrangea. You have one stem right here that's gonna flower. I'm actually, because that's a weird shaped stem, I'm gonna use that in somebody's bouquet. This pot looking good too. The violas with the all of the mums, the chrysanthemums in the back. Okay, these pots, you can tell the ranunculus are wrapping up. Those Rudbeckia are huge. I'm excited to see what they're going to do, but I am going to clean out the ranunculus in a week or so, and then I'm not sure what else I'm going to put in there. I don't think I want to keep it just Rudbeckia, but they look really good and healthy. All of these guys, oh, they look awful. I cannot wait to clean these out, but there's going to be a whole video on that. So they were really lush and everything for the summer. Took a lot of cuttings from them to grow in the greenhouse. So what I'm going to do is I'll come in with each of these containers. I will take out anything that is dead. I will trim up anything that I'm going to keep. And then I will repot, new succulents in there, clean it up, add more rocks, just make it look nice to go back out on the patio. But the reason I put them under here is that in the wintertime when we do get our actual rains, because like all summer they get no rain at all. They only get a little bit of water from the hose when I water them like once every 2 weeks. But otherwise they don't get any water because they're cactus and succulents. But if I left them out all winter, they could handle the temperatures, but they would drown because water it wouldn't be able to drain out of these fast enough. Climbing roses. Look at this. I'm laughing because it's just insane. This is the vision that I had of having these guys just smother these pillars. They're so pretty. This is the Jacob's Coat rose. It's not highly scented. It's nice, but it's not like overwhelmingly scented. But all of them producing a lot of flowers. These also had a ton of aphids, but then the ladybugs showed up back here too and took care of them. I didn't have to do a thing. I came back here with clippers and trimmed around each of these Limelight Hydrangeas. That one clearly doing better than the other. And then when we mow now, it'll be very clear where those are. I'll probably put some kind of edging around it because my kids are the mowers and they do a great job, but they're always worried they're going to damage something. So more roses. So, I mean, this is growing up under the... So these are the ones that I will just cut them back during the season. I mean, it is April and they're already reaching the roof. So I have no problem. That's the great thing about climbers. You can hack on them all season long and it's not a big deal. They'll just keep pumping out the flowers. So I'm going to do that and continue to wrap so that we get blooms lower down like this. There's another Limelight. And then this bed definitely cleaned up. It looks sprawling because the leaves from the bulbs are laying down. Once those die back and I can cut them off, then this bed will look a lot different. But we've got Dusty Miller in here that's coming through, and that Helichrysum is giant. I love the silvery green leaves. In the back there, those spires that are sticking up, those are Crocosmia. I can't wait to show you guys. They're so cool. And then this is it's a jelly bean mix, California poppy. So I'm leaving the seed heads because I want them to continue to seed through here. I can always dig up the seedlings and put them other places in the garden. So we're very active. Look at how frilly those are. Really pretty. And then there's that osteospermum back there, looking lovely. We have Dusty up here and Lamb's Ear. These pots I finally cleaned out. They had tomatoes and peppers last year. They will get tomatoes and peppers again this year, but obviously I will put brand new potting soil in there. These guys, I think I'm going to give up on. I don't think that the climbing, there's another bumble, the climbing vines that I planted in there, I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, I see a few seedlings, but when I go to plant up the other containers for summer, I may just clean these out and do that as well. So I have nice summer flowers back here. Foxglove coming along. In the back we have Buddleia. You can see how much it's leafed out now. These trees are all filled in now that all the leaves are on the trees. African Daisy. I've got yarrow in here. Our hollyhocks are getting big. Those should give us, because these are biennials, they should give us blooms this year. So as you can see all through here, oh, here's a straw flower. All through here, oh, this is one that I missed deadheading. We've got lupine in here, just a whole variety of things. And they just keep coming on in through successions. We're going to have alliums popping up. They already are popping up, but they're going to bloom in a couple of months. The foxglove are definitely blooming. That Nemesia there is crazy. Big carpet of Nemesia. The Nepeta, cat's pajamas there. Our salvias are coming up in the back, and this is an iris called Black Suited Iris. I can't wait to see what it's going to look like when it blooms. More California poppies. More foxglove, different succession down there. Dusty Miller, Gara, which I definitely cut back quite a bit. And then look at these foxglove. So pretty. I mean, all of this ground cover that we planted, it's all filling in lovely. It's nice and getting dense in here, which basically eliminates weeds. There's more iris. And look at these columbines. Aquilegia. I hear you, bumblebee. So those columbines I grew from seed, they were a mix. I think it was called petticoat mix. And so they have a couple different colors to them. And look at these spikes. I mean, this is a 5-foot tall spike of foxglove. Crazy. And the Artemisia silver mound came back just fine. Doesn't really look like a mound anymore, but it's there, and I love that color. And here's more of the Aquilegia. Same petticoat mix, different colors. So much for that being a short video. hopefully you guys were bearing with me and enjoyed it. I want to thank you for hanging out with me today. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. I did have one question about the little container of aloe that I planted. So let me show you that really quick. So here it is. This is it. The aloe seeds. There's still water in here. I've only had to replace the water once. I know aloe is slow to germinate, and it did germinate a little bit, but yeah, so far I'm not too thrilled about this. But you know, it was a cheap little fun experiment, so no harm, no foul. I mean, you could do a lot of things. I will keep the whole system, and hopefully I'll actually get an aloe plant out of this, but I think it's probably just too moist to start aloe in hydroponically. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful time in your own garden, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.